Hello everyone and welcome back to my US Diary official YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Brooke Logan will face some water horror before Ridge Forrester has a true love epiphany. Nick Marone's dream will also be dashed. Taylor will hope she got through to Brooke about the fact that Ridge is taken. Despite all Taylor's blustering, she'll be concerned about the possibility of Brooke and Ridge reconnecting on this Italy trip. With Eric Forrester playing matchmaker, Ridge and Brooke will indeed be thrown into some cling moments. The magic of Naples will clearly be a factor in what's ahead for Brooke and Ridge. There'll also be a fashion show, but Nick will be concentrated on pleasure rather than business. We'll see Nick scheme a bit and do his stylish to pull Brooke out of Ridge's route. Brooke will end up on a boat with Ridge as they travel to Capri, but Nick will seek a boat as well and move Brooke to take a lift with him next. Nick's going to deliver a marriage offer that catches Brooke off guard, but indeed more marvels are brewing. Brooke has an accident coming up. This may be when it goes down. Will Brooke fall off the boat as jealous Ridge watches hard? Anyhow, Ridge will see a dangerous situation and play deliverer. It looks like Ridge will jump in the water after Brooke and save her, so that should bring his true love epiphany. Effects will click into place for Ridge when it comes to the woman he's truly meant to be with. Everything Eric's been saying will eventually sink by and lead to Ridge's consummation that Brooke is his person. Nick's dream of reuniting with Brooke will end this out, so he'll have to master his injuries after Brooke goes back to Ridge. Still, it'll be Taylor who ends up most devastated since she really allowed Ridge would stand by her side ever this time around. Taylor seems poised to unleash her wrath on Ridge and wonder how he could do this to her. Finn Finnegan will keep digging into Grace Buckingham's conduct regarding Liam Spencer and his miraculous recovery. Still, it's Finn. If anyone can expose Grace as a scammer who supposedly made up the excrescence and experimental procedure for plutocrat, it'll be good for Finn to throw himself into this disquisition since Steffi Forrester will be leaving with the kiddies for a bit. Liam's recovery continues to be the hot content at the Forrester Creation Services, with Ridge, Brooke and Eric roistering in the phenomenon that has taken place. Eric makes a none too subtle speech about life being too short and also shows a Brooke-centric videotape, created by Will, concentrated on the company's connection to Italy. With the trip to Italy back on, Brooke mentions that she's thinking of inviting Nick. Ridge, supposedly believing he's in charge of who can and cannot visit the country, says his rival's not invited. Formerly alone with Eric, Ridge refers to Nick as someone who's arrogant, tone-centered, and takes advantage of every possible situation, including Brooke. Astonishingly, he does this without a single trace of irony. Ridge rightly suggests that Eric wants him to leave Taylor and reunite with Brooke. Eric suggests that if Ridge isn't careful, Nick will steal Brooke right out from under him. Sure, Eric likes Taylor, but he knows that Ridge's true love is Brooke. Ridge says Brooke wouldn't fall for Nick because he's fake and full of false bravado. But it's enough clear that Ridge fears that's exactly what will be. When Ridge says Nick isn't the man for her, Brooke counters that he's right because he's the right man for her. She remembers that time he returned and she spotted him at the top of the water staircase and the time he saw her through the keyhole in Italy. She also says the truest words ever uttered: "This is ridiculous. Why is this passing? We're too old for this." Nick arrives at the design office to visit Brooke. They soon wind up ignoring, and he suggests that she needs a man who's devoted to only her, which is most clearly not, in his opinion, Ridge. Nick says that when he returned to Los Angeles, it was to see her. There's a nice citation of his mama, Jackie, but the main content of discussion is Ridge and the fact he's simply not the right Joe for her. Nick says he's thinking easily and knows how he feels. "Come to Naples with me," he says. "Let me show you the Naples I know." He wants to take her to Ockyards? Erecting a boat is like writing a love letter with your hand. It's slow, delicate, veritably intricate, and each encounter of shield is like following the angles of your nut's back. Brooke says she no way allowed. of it like that and, I mean, who has? Nick says he's having a sport fisherman erected and wants to take her out on the water to see her beautiful skin being kissed by the warmth of the sun. He adds to this temptation by suggesting, I might indeed let you wear my captain's chapeau. Nick calls Italy to check on his design, also looks at a picture of Brooke and flashes back to their marriage. Brooke goes back to the main office and addresses to Ridge, saying this trip wouldn't be the same as the history. She says it might be better if Nick was there. When Ridge bristles, she points out, Taylor lurks around wherever you go. Why can't I've notoriety? She adds that he's engaged, and it's not right for him to suggest she can't have someone in her life. Of course, Ridge tries to say he'd be okay with her having someone in his life, just not, Nick. Brooke reminds her partner that this is each because Ridge incorrectly felt betrayed when she became CEO. It was all a misreading, she says. Despite him hurting her by running off to start a life with Taylor, she's willing to forgive him. This is the last chance, she warns, however, I'm just going to bring Nick to Italy with me. She begs him, literally, to come home to her, if we can't do this. Cleric finds Sheila seated with her 8-toed bottom propped up working on force at Il Giardino. A head long, Lee swings by and talk turns to Luna. Cleric is correctly gobsmacked as the grandmas try to defend Luna's conduct. He points out that the girl killed 2 people, also got a miraculous alternate chance only to take hostages and shoot 2 further people. Lee makes it clear that she blames everything on Penelope and her poor fathering skills, however, Luna would have had a happy life, if not for Poppy. Sheila is amazed that she and Lee are relating over Luna. They're all concentrated on Liam's recovery, and they do indeed mention Luna, complains Sheila. Lee says that there wouldn't be a service for Luna, as it's formerly happed. Sheila wishes she'd known so that she could have said farewell to her grandchild. Grace proposed a parlous, an uber-expensive, procedure that may just save Liam's life. Grace checked in on Liam. The good news is, he's doing better. The better news is, Bill was by his side. The bad news is, there's still that pesky brain excrescence killing him. Bill supplicated his son to let him help. Let him help seek out other treatments. At least let him be there from now on. Liam opened up to his pater about being hysterical to die. He allowed. He was ready to go, but after being shot, Liam was ready to fight. That wasn't just music to Grace's cognizance, it was music to Bill's too. Grace and Bill headed into the hallway to bandy all the options. Grace informed Bill there was one last option. A Hail Mary option, but an option nevertheless. It was an experimental treatment and there wasn't a guarantee. In fact, it was so experimental and precious, indeed the sanitarium couldn't know about it. Bill agreed to pay whatever it took and make any arrangements Grace needs to save his son. Bill ran over to Liam's room to try to talk him into witnessing the experimental procedure. To say Liam was open to the idea is an understatement. He was all for it. By the time Grace got there, Liam indeed started to feel a shaft of stopgap. There were just a many catches, he to decide right also and there, the surgery would be hereafter, it wouldn't be done in the sanitarium and would have to stay a secret. Anyhow of the pitfalls, Liam jumped at the chance. Yes. Yes. 1,000,000 times yes. Ridge, Brooke, and Eric bandied Liam being idle and the tragedy of his terminal illness. They all agreed to be there for Liam and his children. Well, at least after they get back from Naples. Speaking of that which, Eric invited Brooke along since Steffi couldn't go. Of course, Brooke said yes. She was agitated to make new recollections in Italy. Ridge and Eric talked about the trip and Ridge wondered if his pater was over to commodity. Eric didn't exactly deny it and Ridge kinda sorta gently put his bottom down. He has a woman in his life and that's that. The Naples trip was the hot content at the Forrester estate, too. Donna wished she was going, but someone had to stay and hold down the stronghold. Taylor wasn't packing a bag either, but wondered if Brooke would be. Donna hoped so. Why should her family turn down the occasion? She pushed to get the scoop on Taylor's passions, which weren't important. Taylor trusted Ridge to recognize his commitment whether he and Brooke were then or overseas. Either, isn't one of Brooke's spouses smelling around trying to win her back? Yes. Yes, he is. With that, Taylor took off for the office to check in with her man and set a date for their marriage before he spurt sets with his partner. Nick was veritably much each about Brooke and turned up in the design room to see her. Unfortunately for him, she wasn't each about him. Her head was in the shadows, allowing about her time alone with Ridge in Naples. Nick proposed a different idea. Yes, sure, go to Italy for business, but rather of going with the Forresters, fly with him rather. As it turns out, Nick has some shop to talk in Naples, too. Brooke made all feathers of defenses to not fly on his aeroplane. But Nick wasn't taking no for an answer. He got right close to Brooke and promised to not only make time for her in Italy but to treat her the way she deserves.